Welcome back, Book Echo community. Today, we're embarking on a journey through the emotional landscape of Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. This book is a powerful guide to understanding and naming our emotions, which is key to forging deeper and more meaningful connections in our lives. Brené Brown's mission is to map out the complex terrain of human emotions, offering us tools to better navigate our inner worlds. By expanding our emotional vocabulary, we can become more compassionate, empathetic, and connected, not only to others but also to ourselves. Understanding emotions isn't just about feeling them. It's about naming them, recognizing their impact, and using this awareness to foster real connections. In this book, Brené takes us on a journey that will help us understand the language of human experience, allowing us to open our hearts and create more meaningful connections with the people around us. So, let's dive in and explore what makes this emotional atlas such an essential map for life. Part 1. Understanding the Language of Human Experience. In Part 1 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown invites us to explore how our emotions play a crucial role in shaping our relationships and decisions. Emotions are at the core of our human experience. They influence the way we respond to challenges, how we connect with others, and even how we see ourselves. The challenge, however, is that many of us lack the words to accurately describe what we are feeling. This limited emotional vocabulary often keeps us from fully understanding our own experiences and from effectively communicating our needs to others. Brené emphasizes that by expanding our emotional vocabulary, we gain the tools we need to better navigate life's ups and downs. Imagine trying to navigate a map with only a few basic directions. It's much harder to get where you're going if you don't have the full picture. The same is true for our emotions. When we only use broad terms like happy, sad, or angry, we miss out on the nuances that allow us to truly understand what we are feeling. Instead, having a richer emotional vocabulary allows us to distinguish between different experiences, like feeling overwhelmed versus feeling stressed, or content versus joyful. Each of these emotions carries a different meaning and, therefore, requires a different response. In this part of the book, Brené introduces us to some of the key emotions that we experience as human beings, and she explains why naming them matters. Naming an emotion helps us make sense of what we're experiencing, and it also opens the door to deeper self-compassion and empathy for others. When we can identify and articulate our emotions, we can better connect with others who might be feeling the same way. This understanding is at the heart of meaningful connection. It allows us to truly see each other, hear each other, and support each other through both the highs and the lows of life. Ultimately, this part of Atlas of the Heart serves as an invitation to expand our emotional understanding, to be curious about what we feel, and to use this awareness to foster stronger relationships. By learning the language of human experience, we can enrich our lives, build deeper connections, and navigate the complexities of our emotions with greater clarity and confidence. Part 2. Places we go when things are uncertain or too much. In Part 2 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown delves into the emotions that arise when we face uncertainty or feel overwhelmed. Emotions like anxiety, vulnerability, and stress. These emotions are common experiences, and while they can be challenging, understanding them is key to learning how to manage and navigate through difficult times. Anxiety is a natural response to uncertainty, often arising when we feel we don't have control over the future. It's an emotion that many of us are all too familiar with, especially during times of major change or upheaval. Brené explains that anxiety isn't just about worry. It's also about feeling disconnected, as though we're cut off from the stability that helps us feel safe. Similarly, vulnerability is a powerful yet uncomfortable emotion that can leave us feeling exposed or at risk. However, Brené reminds us that vulnerability is also the birthplace of courage and connection. Without it, we can't truly experience intimacy or trust. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the door to meaningful relationships. Stress, on the other hand, often arises when we feel like we have too much on our plate, and it can quickly escalate into overwhelm. Fear and overwhelm have a profound impact on our ability to connect with others. When we're overwhelmed, it's easy to become closed off, retreating inward rather than reaching out for support. Our minds go into survival mode, making it harder to see beyond the immediate situation or to connect with those around us. In these moments, Brené suggests that naming the emotion we're experiencing, whether it's fear, anxiety, or something else, can help us regain a sense of control and clarity. To help us move through these emotions, Brené offers strategies for cultivating resilience. One powerful approach is to normalize our experiences. Breen explains that part of what makes anxiety or fear feel so overwhelming is the belief that we're the only ones feeling this way. But when we recognize that these emotions are a normal part of being human, we can begin to ease the burden. It's also important to reach out for connection, whether by sharing what we're feeling with someone we trust or simply asking for help. Vulnerability, though difficult, often creates the space for connection and support. Another key strategy is to focus on what we can control. When facing uncertainty, it's easy to fixate on the unknown, but this only feeds anxiety. By shifting our attention to the things we can influence, our actions, our responses, and our thoughts, we begin to regain a sense of agency. Breen also emphasizes the importance of self-compassion, treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a friend who is struggling. It's okay to acknowledge that things are hard and to give ourselves permission to rest or step back when we need to. In this section, Breen encourages us to see these challenging emotions not as enemies, but as part of our shared human experience. By recognizing, naming, and embracing them, we can build the resilience we need to navigate uncertainty and reconnect with ourselves and others, even when things feel too much. This journey through our emotions helps us remember that we are never alone in our struggles, and that connection is always possible, even in the midst of fear and overwhelm. Part 3. Places we go when we compare. In Part 3 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown explores the emotional landscape of comparison, a place we often find ourselves in when we look at others and measure ourselves against them. This part of the book takes a deep dive into emotions like envy, jealousy, and comparison, emotions that are universally experienced but rarely discussed openly. Breen explains how understanding these emotions and learning to work with them can help us transform comparison from something that hinders us into something that can foster growth and connection. Envy and jealousy are closely related, yet distinct emotions. Envy often arises when we desire something that someone else has, whether it's success, a skill, or even a particular lifestyle. It's that pang we feel when we wish we could be in someone else's shoes. Jealousy, on the other hand, is more about protecting what we already have, like a relationship or a valued position, and fearing that it might be taken away. Both of these emotions can be powerful and painful, but Breen emphasizes that they are not inherently bad. They are part of the human experience, and learning to understand them can help us grow. Comparison itself can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can fuel growth. When we look at others as a source of inspiration, we can learn from their strengths and use their success as motivation to improve ourselves. However, more often than not, comparison can hinder our growth by leading to feelings of inadequacy, resentment, or insecurity. Breen points out that comparison often stems from a place of fear. Fear that we're not enough, that we're falling behind, or that we don't measure up. When we allow these fears to take over, comparison can become toxic, keeping us stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and preventing us from fully embracing our own unique journey. To transform comparison into a positive force, Breen encourages us to use it as a tool for empathy and connection. Instead of seeing others as competitors, we can choose to see them as fellow travelers on the same journey. When we recognize that we're all striving, struggling, and celebrating in our own ways, it becomes easier to feel empathy rather than envy. Breen suggests that when we notice ourselves falling into the trap of negative comparison, we should pause and ask ourselves, what does this say about what I value? What can I learn from this? By shifting our focus from lack to learning, we can turn comparison into an opportunity for growth. Another key aspect of transforming comparison is learning to celebrate others' successes. Instead of feeling threatened by someone else's achievements, we can choose to celebrate them and recognize that their success does not diminish our own. Breen emphasizes the importance of community over competition. When we uplift others, we create a sense of connection and belonging that benefits everyone. It's about understanding that there is enough success, love, and joy to go around, and that another person's win does not mean our loss. In this part of the book, Breen challenges us to rethink how we approach comparison. By understanding envy and jealousy, using comparison as a source of inspiration, and embracing empathy, we can transform these emotions into tools for connection and personal growth. It's about choosing to see others not as benchmarks of what we lack, but as reminders of what is possible. In doing so, we can move from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, where we're not afraid to lift others up and celebrate their successes, knowing that we're all in this together. Part 4. Places we go when things aren't what they seem. In Part 4 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown guides us through the emotions that arise when we find ourselves in situations that are not entirely clear. Places where things aren't what they seem. Here, she explores emotions such as confusion, curiosity, and awe, and shows how these emotions play a vital role in our journey of self-discovery and connection with others. Confusion is an uncomfortable feeling for many of us. We like things to be straightforward, clear, and certain, but the reality is that life often doesn't work that way. Confusion can be frustrating, especially when we feel pressured to understand something quickly or when we think we should already know the answer. However, Brené invites us to see confusion differently. Instead of resisting it, she encourages us to see it as a gateway to curiosity. Confusion isn't a sign of failure, it's an opportunity to learn. When we allow ourselves to sit with confusion rather than rush through it, we create space for curiosity to grow. Curiosity is one of the most important tools we have for navigating times when things aren't what they seem. Brené emphasizes that curiosity is the foundation of deeper understanding and stronger relationships. It's what allows us to ask questions, seek out different perspectives, and remain open to new possibilities. Curiosity is the antidote to judgment. It encourages us to explore rather than assume, to understand rather than dismiss. When we approach people and situations with genuine curiosity, we create an environment where others feel seen, heard, and valued. This kind of openness not only deepens our understanding of others, but also strengthens our connections and builds trust. Awe is another emotion Brené highlights in this section. Awe is that sense of wonder and amazement we feel when we encounter something vast or extraordinary, something that takes our breath away or makes us feel connected to something greater than ourselves. Awe can be experienced in nature, art, or even in the simple beauty of everyday moments. It's an emotion that reminds us of the beauty and mystery of life, encouraging us to pause and appreciate the world around us. Brené explains that awe has the power to shift our perspective, helping us see beyond our immediate concerns and connect to a sense of wonder. When we embrace awe, we tap into a source of inspiration that fuels creativity and deepens our sense of belonging. One of the key themes of this section is the idea of embracing ambiguity. Life is full of uncertainty, and things aren't always as clear-cut as we'd like them to be. Brené encourages us to lean into ambiguity rather than shy away from it. When we embrace the unknown, we give ourselves permission to explore, grow, and discover new possibilities. It's in those moments of not knowing that we often find the most growth. When we're willing to ask questions, to challenge our assumptions, and to stay open to what might come next. By embracing ambiguity, we become more adaptable, more resilient, and more capable of navigating the complexities of life. In Part 4, Brené shows us that when things aren't what they seem, we have a choice. We can either resist the discomfort of not knowing, or we can embrace it with curiosity, openness, and awe. By choosing the latter, we open ourselves up to growth, connection, and a deeper appreciation of the human experience. It's about recognizing that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to explore, and that in exploring it, we find not only answers, but also a richer, more meaningful life. Part 5. Places we go when it's beyond us. In Part 5 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown takes us into the realm of the profound. The places we go when we encounter experiences that seem beyond our everyday understanding. This section explores emotions like wonder, spirituality, and transcendence, reminding us of our deep connection to the world around us and the importance of embracing the mystery of life. Wonder is one of those emotions that can make us feel both small and connected to something greater. It's that feeling we get when we look up at a star-filled sky, hear a piece of music that moves us, or witness a powerful act of kindness. Wonder opens us up to the vastness of life, reminding us that there is so much more to this world than what we see on the surface. Brené explains that moments of wonder help us break free from the routine of everyday life, inviting us to step back, reflect, and appreciate the beauty around us. Spirituality is another key emotion discussed in this part of the book. For Brené, spirituality is not about religion. It's about our sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves. It's about feeling that we are all part of a larger human story, and that there is something meaningful guiding us through life. This sense of connection can be found in nature, in relationships, or in moments of silence when we feel deeply attuned to the present. Spirituality gives us a sense of belonging, helping us find meaning and purpose beyond the material aspects of life. It's about recognizing that we are not alone, that we are part of a shared human experience. Transcendence is the emotion that takes us beyond our immediate concerns, allowing us to feel a sense of elevation or uplift. It's when we feel deeply inspired by something larger than ourselves, whether it's through art, music, nature, or a shared human experience. Transcendence allows us to connect to a higher plane of experience, one that brings us closer to our own humanity and to others. These moments of transcendence are often fleeting, but they are powerful. They remind us of the potential for beauty, meaning, and connection that exists in every moment of our lives. In this section, Breen also emphasizes the importance of awe and wonder in bringing us closer to others and to our own humanity. Moments of awe are humbling, reminding us that we are just one small part of something much greater. Yet, at the same time, these moments have the power to create a deep sense of connection with others. Because when we share experiences of awe, we tap into a collective sense of appreciation for the beauty and mystery of life. Whether it's standing in awe before a natural landscape or being moved by a piece of music, these moments connect us to the core of what it means to be human. Another key theme in this part of the book is the value of experiencing and expressing gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools we have for deepening our relationships and fostering a sense of well-being. Breen explains that gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about truly recognizing and appreciating the moments, people, and experiences that bring joy and meaning into our lives. By actively practicing gratitude, we shift our focus away from what we lack and toward what we have, which helps us build stronger connections with others and enhances our own sense of fulfillment. In Part 5, Breen invites us to embrace the emotions that take us beyond our everyday experience, the emotions that connect us to something greater and help us see the world with new eyes. By allowing ourselves to experience wonder, spirituality, and transcendence, and by cultivating gratitude, we can foster deeper connections with others and find greater meaning in our own lives. It's about recognizing the beauty in the world, feeling a part of something bigger, and expressing appreciation for the experiences that make life so profound. Part 6. Places we go when we feel wronged. In Part 6 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown explores the emotions that surface when we feel that we've been wronged, emotions such as anger, resentment, and defensiveness. These emotions are natural reactions to feeling mistreated, disrespected, or hurt. However, if left unchecked, they can become toxic, damaging our relationships and creating distance between us and the people we care about. This part of the book is all about understanding these emotions and learning how to process them in ways that allow us to heal, grow, and move forward. Anger is a powerful emotion that often emerges when we feel that our boundaries have been crossed or when we perceive an injustice. While anger can be a healthy response to unfair treatment, it becomes harmful when we hold on to it for too long or when we express it in destructive ways. Breen explains that anger, if not addressed, can become a barrier to connection, preventing us from understanding the perspectives of others and from finding resolution. Resentment is like a slow-burning fire. It tends to build up over time, often without us even realizing it. Resentment grows when we feel that our needs have been ignored or when we hold on to grudges. Breen likens resentment to drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It doesn't hurt the person who wronged us, it only harms ourselves. Resentment can eat away at our well-being, leaving us feeling bitter and disconnected. Defensiveness is another common response when we feel wronged, especially when our actions are called into question. It's a way of protecting our ego from feeling attacked or criticized. However, defensiveness often escalates conflict, making it harder for us to truly listen to others or to take responsibility for our own actions. When we become defensive, we shut down the possibility of understanding and reconciliation, which can further strain relationships. To help us process these challenging emotions, Breen offers several techniques for dealing with anger, resentment, and defensiveness constructively. Number 1. Acknowledge and name the emotion. One of the first steps in dealing with any difficult emotion is to acknowledge and name it. When we can put a label on what we're feeling, whether it's anger, resentment, or defensiveness, it helps us gain clarity and reduces the emotional intensity. Naming the emotion also allows us to better understand why we're feeling this way and what triggered it. Number 2. Understand the underlying cause. Often, these emotions are just the surface layer of something deeper. Anger might be masking feelings of hurt, resentment might be covering unmet needs, and defensiveness might stem from fear of being judged. Breen encourages us to look beneath the emotion to understand its true source. By identifying the underlying feelings, we can better address the root cause of our emotions. Number 3. Practice self-compassion. Feeling wronged can stir up a lot of negative self-talk, especially if we start to blame ourselves for what happened. Breen emphasizes the importance of self-compassion, treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a friend. Self-compassion helps us navigate these emotions without spiraling into self-blame or shame. Number 4. Set boundaries. Part of dealing with anger and resentment is learning to set healthy boundaries. If someone has repeatedly crossed our boundaries, it's important to communicate our needs clearly and assertively. Setting boundaries is not about punishment. It's about protecting our well-being and ensuring that our needs are respected. Number 5. Foster forgiveness. Finally, Breen highlights the power of forgiveness as a tool for letting go of anger and resentment. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or pretending that what happened didn't matter. Instead, it's about freeing ourselves from the weight of the past so that we can move forward. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It allows us to release the hold that negative emotions have on us and to create space for healing and connection. In this part of the book, Breen shows us that emotions like anger, resentment, and defensiveness are part of being human, but they don't have to control us. By acknowledging these emotions, understanding their roots, and using constructive techniques to process them, we can prevent them from damaging our relationships. We can also create opportunities for growth, healing, and deeper connection with others. It's about choosing to respond rather than react, about finding a way to move from being stuck in pain to embracing the possibility of forgiveness and understanding. Part 7. Places we go when we're hurting. In Part 7 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown guides us through the emotional territory of sadness, grief, and heartbreak. Places we all visit when we're hurting. These emotions can be incredibly painful, but they are also profoundly human. This part of the book focuses on the importance of acknowledging our pain in order to heal and foster empathy, and how shared experiences of loss can bring us closer to others. Sadness is a natural response to loss, disappointment, or unmet expectations. It's an emotion that can leave us feeling depleted or disconnected, but it's also a reflection of what we care about. Breen explains that sadness isn't something to avoid or push away. Instead, it's an invitation to honor what we've lost and to give ourselves the time and space we need to heal. By allowing ourselves to feel sadness, we validate our experience and make room for authentic healing. Grief is one of the most intense forms of sadness. It's the deep sorrow that comes from losing something or someone we love. Grief is not a linear process. It doesn't follow a set timeline or play by predictable rules. Breen emphasizes that grief is a reflection of love. The deeper the love, the more profound the grief. Many people struggle with allowing themselves to grieve, feeling pressure to move on or stay strong. However, Breen reminds us that grief is a necessary part of healing. It's through grieving that we come to terms with our loss and find a way to carry it with us, rather than letting it define us. Heartbreak is another form of deep emotional pain that can stem from the end of a relationship, the loss of a dream, or any situation where our expectations and hopes are shattered. Heartbreak can leave us feeling vulnerable and raw, but Breen emphasizes that it's also an opportunity to grow. When we acknowledge our heartbreak and allow ourselves to feel it fully, we open the door to greater resilience and strength. A central theme in this part of the book is the importance of acknowledging pain as a way to facilitate healing and cultivate empathy. When we allow ourselves to feel and express our pain, we create the opportunity for healing. Suppressing or denying our emotions only prolongs our suffering and keeps us stuck. Breen encourages us to be gentle with ourselves during times of hurt, to honor our pain, and to recognize that it's a normal part of the human experience. By acknowledging our pain, we also become better equipped to understand and support others who are going through similar experiences. Breen also discusses how shared experiences of loss can create deeper bonds. When we open up about our pain, we invite others to do the same, creating a space for genuine connection and understanding. It's often in our moments of greatest vulnerability that we find the deepest connections. When someone else shares in our grief, or when we support someone through theirs, it reminds us that we are not alone, that our pain is part of a shared human experience. This sense of shared experience can help alleviate feelings of isolation and foster a sense of belonging. In this section, Breen reminds us that while sadness, grief, and heartbreak are painful, they are also part of what makes us human. By acknowledging our pain and allowing ourselves to feel it, we create the conditions for healing and growth. We also cultivate empathy, both for ourselves and for others, and we open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections. It's about embracing our pain, not as something to be feared, but as a path to greater understanding, compassion, and connection. Through these emotions, we find the common ground that binds us together as human beings, and we discover the strength that lies in our vulnerability. Part 8. Places we go when life is good. In Part 8 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown takes us to the places we go when life is good, when we experience joy, contentment, and pride. These emotions are often easier to embrace than the difficult ones, but many of us still struggle with fully allowing ourselves to experience positive emotions. Brené helps us understand how to truly savor these moments and highlights the importance of celebration and sharing joy as a way to foster meaningful connections. Joy is one of the most powerful positive emotions we can experience. It's often described as an intense feeling of happiness that arises unexpectedly, filling us with a sense of wonder and delight. Joy can be found in simple moments, watching a child laugh, connecting with a loved one, or witnessing something beautiful. Brené reminds us that joy is about being fully present in the moment and allowing ourselves to feel gratitude for what we have. However, many people struggle to fully embrace joy, often fearing that it's too good to last or that something bad might follow. Brené calls this the foreboding joy, the feeling that joy is fleeting and that we must prepare for the worst. She encourages us to let go of this fear and to allow ourselves to be vulnerable enough to experience joy fully, knowing that it's a gift worth savoring. Contentment is a quieter, more enduring emotion than joy. It's the sense of peace and satisfaction that comes from appreciating where we are in life. Unlike joy, which is often sudden and intense, contentment is about recognizing the value in the everyday moments and feeling grateful for what we have. It's about accepting ourselves and our circumstances without constantly striving for more. Brené emphasizes that contentment is not complacency. It's a recognition that we are enough as we are, and that our lives have value even without constant achievement or change. Pride is another positive emotion that can be complicated. Many of us have been taught that pride is something to avoid, associating it with arrogance or ego. However, Brené explains that healthy pride is about celebrating our accomplishments and recognizing our efforts. It's about feeling a sense of satisfaction in our hard work and growth, and about allowing ourselves to feel good about what we've achieved. Healthy pride is not about being better than others. It's about acknowledging our own worth and the value of our contributions. A key theme in this part of the book is the idea of fully embracing positive emotions without fear or guilt. Many people struggle to let themselves be happy, feeling that they don't deserve it or worrying that it won't last. Brené encourages us to let go of these barriers and to recognize that experiencing joy, contentment, and pride is not only okay, it's essential for our well-being. These emotions are what make life rich and meaningful, and they deserve to be celebrated. Brené also emphasizes the role of celebration and sharing joy in creating meaningful connections. Joy is often amplified when it's shared. Whether it's celebrating a personal achievement with friends or experiencing a joyful moment with loved ones. By sharing our happiness with others, we invite them into our experience and create bonds that strengthen our relationships. Brené encourages us to take time to celebrate both our own successes and the successes of those around us. Celebrating together creates a sense of community and belonging, reminding us that we are not alone in our journey. In Part 8, Brené invites us to fully embrace the positive emotions that make life beautiful: joy, contentment, and pride. She encourages us to let go of fear, guilt, and the need to downplay our happiness, and instead to savor these moments and share them with others. By celebrating the good times and allowing ourselves to feel positive emotions fully, we create deeper connections and foster a sense of fulfillment and belonging. It's about recognizing that life's joy is worth embracing, and that sharing it with others makes it all the more meaningful. Part 9. The Path to Meaningful Connection. In Part 9 of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown brings all of the emotions we've explored together to help us understand how we can create a map of meaningful human connection. This final part of the book is about how emotional awareness can deepen our relationships with ourselves and with others, and about the practical steps we can take to use emotional language as a powerful tool for growth and connection. Meaningful connection is at the heart of what it means to be human. We all crave it, but it requires vulnerability and courage. Breen explains that in order to truly connect with others, we need to be able to recognize and name our emotions. When we understand what we're feeling, we can express those feelings in a way that others can understand, which fosters empathy and trust. This emotional awareness is the foundation of deep, authentic relationships. It allows us to show up fully, to be honest about who we are, and to invite others to do the same. Emotional awareness also plays a crucial role in our relationship with ourselves. Throughout the book, Breen has shown us that our emotions are not something to fear or suppress, but something to explore and understand. By becoming more aware of our emotions, we learn to recognize our needs, to honor our boundaries, and to treat ourselves with compassion. This self-awareness helps us navigate life with greater clarity and purpose, and it enables us to show up as our authentic selves in our relationships with others. To help us use emotional language as a tool for growth and connection, Breen provides several practical steps. Number 1. Expand your emotional vocabulary. One of the most important steps in building meaningful connections is to expand our emotional vocabulary. Instead of relying on broad terms like happy or sad, Breen encourages us to learn more specific words to describe what we're feeling. For example, instead of saying you're upset, you might use words like disappointed, frustrated, or hurt. The more accurately we can describe our emotions, the better we can understand ourselves and communicate with others. Number 2. Practice naming your emotions. Once we have the vocabulary, it's important to practice naming our emotions in real time. When you notice yourself feeling a certain way, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? This simple act of naming the emotion can help you process it more effectively and can reduce the intensity of the emotion. It also helps you communicate more clearly with others, as you're able to articulate what you're experiencing and why. Number 3. Share your emotions with others. Connection requires vulnerability, and that means being willing to share your emotions with others. Breen encourages us to practice expressing our emotions in our relationships. Whether that means telling a friend how much they mean to us, sharing our fears with a loved one, or admitting when we're feeling overwhelmed. When we share our emotions, we invite others to do the same, creating a space for deeper understanding and empathy. Number 4. Listen with empathy. Just as important as sharing our own emotions is the ability to listen with empathy when others share theirs. Breen emphasizes the importance of being present, listening without judgment, and resisting the urge to fix or minimize what the other person is feeling. Empathy is about connecting with the emotion the other person is experiencing, letting them know they are not alone. Number 5. Use emotional awareness for growth. Finally, Breen encourages us to use our emotional awareness as a tool for personal growth. By paying attention to our emotions and reflecting on what they're telling us, we can learn valuable lessons about our values, our needs, and our boundaries. Emotional awareness helps us understand where we need to set limits, where we need to lean in, and where we need to make changes in order to live more authentically and connectedly. In this final section, Breen brings together everything we've learned to show us how we can use our emotional knowledge to create richer, more meaningful connections in our lives. It's about recognizing that our emotions are not something to be controlled or feared. They are a guide, a source of insight, and a bridge to deeper relationships. By embracing the full spectrum of human emotions and learning to communicate them effectively, we can foster connections that are authentic, supportive, and truly transformative. It's about stepping into our vulnerability, using the language of emotions to bridge the gaps between us, and building a life filled with meaningful, lasting connections. Conclusion: embracing the full spectrum of human experience. In the conclusion of Atlas of the Heart, Brené Brown brings us full circle, emphasizing the importance of understanding and naming our emotions as a way to enrich our lives and deepen our relationships. Throughout this journey, we have explored the vast landscape of human emotions, the places we go when we feel joyful, hurt, uncertain, wronged, connected, or lost. The ability to identify and articulate these emotions is crucial, not only for our own well-being, but also for building meaningful connections with others. Breen reminds us that emotional awareness is a lifelong journey, one that requires curiosity, courage, and an open heart. By learning to name our emotions, we give ourselves the tools we need to navigate the complexities of life with more clarity and intention. It allows us to move through life with greater empathy for others, a deeper understanding of ourselves, and a more authentic approach to our relationships. She encourages us to continue this journey of emotional exploration, to stay curious about our feelings, and to embrace the full spectrum of the human experience, both the highs and the lows. Emotions are not something to be feared or controlled. They are a powerful guide, helping us to better understand ourselves and the world around us. Breen ends with a powerful call to action, to cultivate empathy, vulnerability, and connection in our daily lives. True connection requires that we show up as our full selves, embracing the messiness of our emotions and being open to the experiences of others. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others to do the same, creating a space where authentic relationships can flourish. The journey of understanding and embracing our emotions is one of courage and growth. It's about choosing to live wholeheartedly, to celebrate our joys, to honor our sorrows, and to use the language of emotions as a bridge to deeper connection. By doing so, we can create a life rich in meaning, authenticity, and love, a life that embraces the full spectrum of what it means to be human. Thank you for joining me today on the Book Echo. We've just journeyed through Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown, diving deep into the vast landscape of human emotions. From navigating the uncertainty of life's challenges to embracing moments of joy, we've uncovered the power of understanding our emotions as a way to foster meaningful connections. Remember, emotional awareness is the key to transforming not only how we see ourselves, but also how we connect with others. As we embrace the full spectrum of human experience, from moments of profound hurt to the heights of joy, we cultivate a life rich in authenticity, empathy, and connection. If you found this summary valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Book Echo for more insightful book summaries that empower growth and connection. And make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest uploads. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Which emotion do you struggle with the most, and how do you plan to better connect with it after today's journey? Let's keep the conversation going. Together, we can create a community that inspires and uplifts. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep connecting.